Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me for another video. Today is all about kind of a grungy vintage look with a lot of shine added in with some embossing and a watercolor. You'll just have to stick around to see how I combined a bunch of different things to create this kind of rustic glam look with Unity Stamp Company stamps. I'm featuring the new Jolande Ledger. This was stamped on some craft cardstock in two different colors. I'm using Distress ink in Mermaid Lagoon and Ground Espresso, and I just kind of put the Mermaid Lagoon where the coffee marks are, and then the ledger I did in Ground Espresso. I wasn't precious about it, I just filled in those areas and then stamped it. On my glass mat, I have Ground Espresso and Antique Linen. Added some water, and I'm just going to ink smush that over my background. And that Ground Espresso is really vibrant and dark. I'm not mad at it. It matches my background, so that's the look I was going for. If you wanted something lighter, I would recommend something like Vintage Photo. Now I'm going to ink smoosh with a transparency and put that Mermaid Lagoon right over where I have the coffee marks. That way they kind of blend together. Now I'm going to do some embossing, so I prep my paper with an anti-static tool, grab the Hello Fresh Start front and center sentiment kit, and I'm stamping that in Versamark embossing ink. So you can use any type of embossing ink that you have. I stamped that a couple times to make sure I got a nice impression, and then I'm just going to cover that in some gold embossing powder and make sure I get a nice coverage, and then I'll grab my heat tool and then melt that nice and evenly over my background. And I just love the magic of that, watching that kind of melt and really pop against the background. The fun thing about embossed images is that you can watercolor inside those areas. It creates like a well. So I grabbed a metallic blue that kind of matched the colors of my project, and I'm just painting the flowers inside the well of the embossed image of this flower, and it makes it super simple. You can even go over the embossing powder and it'll just kind of pool and do its own thing inside the flowers. And then I let that dry really well. And now I'm starting to think about how I'm going to put this on my card front. So I'm just going to tear towards me on just one side of my image. And then I'm going to ink blend it with a little bit of the ground espresso just around the edges to kind of blend all of that stuff that I got going on in there. It'll kind of hide that stark edge and then kind of blend into the background. And then I'm going to rough it up a bit. I'm going to tear the edges here, kind of crinkle it, and that will add to that antique effect. Next, I grabbed the Lots of Blots background stamp. I love this one. And I'm just going to add water and then stamp that over the top. That's going to react with the Distress inks and kind of pull away that ink and create a splatter kind of look. Next, I'm just going to trim this down. I want it slightly smaller than an A2 card front, so it's a little bit smaller than 4¼ by 5½. Just going to wrap some black burlap string around the top and tie that into a knot. Once I was happy with that, I added a bit of foam tape to the back. This is going to pop it up on my black cardstock and create a bit of dimension. So I have a couple sizes of foam tape that I like to use, and I'm just going to cover the background. Make sure I get a nice solid flat adhesion. There's a lot of water going on, so I wanted to make sure that it was nice and flat against the card front. I grabbed the sentiment from the sentiment kit that says hugs and love and die cut that with the scalloped and stitches sentiment nesting dies. And that creates just a really cute tag for the card that holds my sentiment. And I'm just going to tie that onto my card front with a little bow using the string. Super cute. Love that. And here is the finished card and all that rustic vintage charm. I love the shine and the combination of all that rustic grunge that we have going on in the background. As always, check the description below for all the supplies I used today or my Dollhouse Designs YouTube channel. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed it. It really helps my channel grow, and I love to read any comments or sweet suggestions that you leave below. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed crafting with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.